fear that had gripped her only moments earlier sank into the pit of her stomach. She reared up, fists and feet flying. She caught him between his legs. He sank down onto her. Knees coming together, a small grunt of air leaving his mouth. It brushed her face, warm and sweet. She could do this. She would resist. She would have headbutted him, but he still had such a tight grip of her hair she couldn't move her head. She punched out again and straightened her hips and pulled her knees up with as much force as she could muster, her breath coming strong and ragged. He leaned down close onto her to protect and gather himself. She continued to punch out and kick and squirm. And then it came. A blinding blow to the side of her head from a fist she didn't see coming. The whole side of her vision went dark and a searing flash of red-hot pain slipped behind her eye. She lifted a hand to the spot where damp now trickled down the side of her cheek. "Stop fighting," he grunted, his voice hot on her face and raspy over his throat, the first words to be spoken. It would not help her if she stopped fighting. She had known the minute she felt him behind her that this was a to-the-end confrontation. His weight was on her and she was pinned down, unable to do anything to save herself. But she would fight back the minute he gave her room to maneuver. He raised himself up, pushing his elbow into her shoulder. "Stop fighting," he growled again. "Never," she said. And she wouldn't. She wouldn't give in. She would fight to the death. Her death. Chapter 1. Claudia. 9 hours since Ruth's attack. DI Claudia Nunn tapped her foot on the grey patch of ground at Snig Hill Police Station in Sheffield and tried not to show her frustration. Her DCI, Madison Sharp, was not the kind of woman who would take kindly to a show of... What? What was it exactly she was feeling following Sharp's request? Frustration, possibly. They were standing outside in the roughly put-together wooden smoker's hut. Sharp inhaled deeply, slim fingers gently caressing the disgusting tube she insisted on keeping a habit. Claudia hated cigarettes, and in turn hated being in the smoker's hut, but Sharp had wanted to speak to her urgently and was also in need of a smoke, so they had ended up here. The smell of the cigarette was burning a hole of annoyance in Claudia's brain. The shed was not exactly private. Anyone could come along and join them, though Sharp would give them a stare and they would soon scuttle away. Sharp reminded her of Cruella de Vil. It was early April and the sky was mirroring the grey concrete below her feet, the very concrete she was tapping her foot against as she tried to think of a response to the request Sharp had made. "Don't you have anything to say, Claudia?" Sharp exhaled. The smoke drifted across Claudia's eyeline. She had the urge to wave her hand in the air to clear it away, but restrained herself, instead shoving her hands deeper into her pockets. "I'm not sure I'm the best person for the job, if I'm honest, Ma'am." Sharp flicked the cigarette and the ash dropped gently to the ground. Sharp didn't care if there were cigarette bins at the side of the shed they were standing in. If she wanted to drop her ash where she was standing, then she would. "I wouldn't have proposed you do it if I didn't think you were the right person." Claudia tapped her foot again. Sharp looked at her. "It's a sensitive job, and there are those above me who are nervous about the whole thing. If anything goes wrong and they end up with mud on their faces, they won't be very happy. They seem to think that you will be the person best suited to do this." She paused, sucked on the cigarette, inhaled, looked up at the leaden sky, exhaled and peered at Claudia. "I happen to agree with them. You're a brilliant interviewer, Claudia. Please don't sell yourself short." A short, sharp laugh burst from Claudia's lips before she could stop it. Sharp narrowed her eyes. "I'm sorry," Claudia said quickly. "It's not that I don't think I'm qualified for the job. I'm well aware of my quality."